Okay, guys. Thanks for staying with me. Now to part two of the Second Amendment. There's always a catalyst to every war, which is an event touted as so horrific and deplorable that it must be avenged. Again, like I said, pardon me, but I'm reading here from a script and it's kind of dark here. Um, I agree with this in a lot of parts. Um, you know, So in a war on the Second Amendment, usually in a civilized society, we begin with a diplomatic solution, and there's always a catalyzing event that brings about a war on a right, and that's usually like what's been happening lately over the last few years with the mass shootings in schools. It started all the way back within Columbine. Now I want to point out for a second. Back when Columbine happened, there was an assault weapons ban. Columbine still happened. Um, you take away you create laws to infringe on a person's right to try to end the violence, and what you have to understand is the only people that are going to follow those laws are the law-abiding citizens. The criminals are still going to find their guns. They're still going to commit crimes. And the only thing that's going to happen is you are going to open them up to a smorgasbord of opportunities to commit crime more freely, more violently than ever before. They're going to get what they want. It's going to be like a kid in a candy store. It's going to be like Christmas time to them. They're going to get everything. Gun-free zones don't work. That's just like telling you, hey, look, guys, come on in. We got, it's like a store selling electronics saying, hey, we got no locks on the door, so when we close up at night, go right ahead and come on in and take everything you want. We can't stop you. There's no locks on the doors. We got nothing to do about it. It doesn't work. It's been proven to not work. Okay? And there's other countries out there who sat by and let their government take their rights, and bit by bit by bit, and especially their gun rights, their right to own and arm themselves and protect themselves. Australia is the most recent that I can think of. Did nothing for crime. Did nothing for violent crime. It's still going to happen. So a gun is just a tool. A gun is a tool used to, create a crime or commit a crime. That's all it is. And it's just like the old, back in the 40s and the 50s, it was like a crowbar getting into a door. Okay, it's an inanimate object, and its evilness, or its how bad it is directly related and correlated to who uses it. Okay, if you get some idiot in where you work, like where I work, I'm a machine operator, I run a lathe, I weld. If I get some idiot in there who's trying to run a crane overhead, and they're trying to bring me a piece from the machine shop area, and they're trying to bring it over to my welding booth, and you go ahead and you just let them do it while you're setting up, and this idiot doesn't know how to run a crane, and he drops it on somebody's head, it's not the fucking crane that did the accident, that caused the accident, it's the idiot operator. It's the idiot operator. Didn't know what he was doing and just jumped in and did it anyways. Whether he was told to or not, it doesn't matter. It's the operator. A gun is only as dangerous as the intention of the person holding it, and that's plain and simple. It can't be argued. That cannot be argued. That is not even close to something that can be argued rationally, because a gun is an inanimate object. I have never seen a gun. I've been around guns all my life. I have never seen my father's pistol jump up out of its case, hop its ass through the house or out the door saying, I'm going to go shoot somebody. It's the intent of the person using the tool. That's all it is. You gun owners, I know this is just, I know this is it almost borders on harassment, because everybody says this, and you know it, and I know it, everybody knows it. But for some reason, these left-wing, liberal anti-gun nuts don't want to admit it, because then they would lose the wind in their sails in their guns are evil program, and they would lose everything. Not that they're not losing now, believe me. I mean, fine, Diane Fuckstein here, the biggest hypocrite out of everybody in the gun control issue, on both sides, left and right, for pro gun and anti gun. She's the biggest fucking hypocrite, because that bitch carries. The last time I knew, that bitch carried a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. on a concealed carry permit in the state of California. Now, and this is, this is the 26th of January here, 2013. Now, part of this bill has been revealed that government officials are exempt from this entire assault weapons ban. Government officials. So while they're not in their office conducting official duties, and they're just at home as a private citizen at home in their home, not conducting official duties, they don't have to turn in semi-automatics. They don't have to turn in their ARs, their SKSs, their AKs. They don't have to, folks. They ain't got to. It's in the bill. It's in the fucking bill that Feinstein's trying to pass. Her and Schumer. I live here in New York, so that fucknut Schumer, don't even get me started. I call down to my congressman's office, and especially the governor's office down in Albany. I call there now, and they actually, I don't know whether they have, caller ID right there on the phone or what. I'm sure nowadays they do. Every phone has that little LED readout, but they know me by name when I call. They'll answer the phone. Hello, Mr. Walter. How are we doing today? It's funny, but anyways, all right. The criminal, so again, we in a civilized society, we tend to try to begin with diplomatic solutions to any conflict. We go and we talk and we bring them to the UN and we talk about the problems, and then we talk amongst the UN, and it's complete. The UN's a complete farce too, because the UN has no control or governorship over the United States or its laws. Members of the United Nations are free to come and go as they please. They hold no governance over the United States. The only people that can put us into bed with the United Nations. And by the way, the United Nations is calling for a total gun ban. It's on America. So the only person that can put us in there, or the only people, I should say, are those in office. So in a civilized, like I said, in a civilized society, we strive for diplomatic solutions first, such as laws to prevent these crimes from happening. Well, folks, there's already laws on the books. You can put laws on the books. I mean, you can put law on top of law on top of law on top of law. You can add every new fucking gun law you want. The fact of the matter is, it's not the criminals that are going to pay the price. It's the law-abiding citizens, because the criminals have already shown their intent. They've already shown their willingness to not conform to the laws. Why are you so not you, but are these left-wing liberals so mental that they can't comprehend the fact that these are criminals? They are criminals because they commit crimes. What is a crime? It's committing an action against the law. It's breaking the law. So you can put all the laws you want up. It doesn't mean they're going to get followed. They're only going to be followed by the law-abiding citizens. So we're the ones that suffer. Criminals are out running around having a gay old time, man. They're out there killing, shooting, robbing, sticking people up, and they got the power to do so because they know that these laws are coming down. They're happy as hell. They know these laws are coming down. They know that these people are going to get their guns taken away, although they've done nothing wrong. Okay, they're going to have their guns legislated away, and they're just waiting for the day, man. They're building up, and they're going to come in, and you're going to see an outbreak. Robbery, muggings, small store robberies, bank robberies. Because what are they going to do? They got nothing. They got nothing to be afraid of. Home invasion is going to go up. I guarantee you at least 20%. I guarantee you. Here in New York, and I'm waiting for it. The law's already passed here in New York. The gun ban, they've regulated our ammunition down to 7 rounds. Our weapon isn't allowed to hold any more than 7 fucking rounds. Yeah, right. That's what I say to that. But no high cap magazines, no assault rifles. Jesus, it just goes on and on. That was the most popular. There were certain handguns that were banned, but for the most part, it was the assault rifles, high cap magazines, and it was the limitation to the number of rounds that we could hold in our clip, in our magazine, and it's limited to 7. Well, you know what? I'm gonna have to look like a comic book superhero, because I'll have single shot rifles strapped all up and down my back, leaning on a wall just in a row. And as they come through the door, I'll grab a rifle, shoot, throw it down, grab another one, shoot, throw it down. If that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. But regardless of what these regulations state, sorry, not happening. My home, my family, their lives, their safety, that comes first and foremost before anything. So, you know, going again, like I said, they make these laws to try to prevent these atrocities from happening again. These could include sanctions, military sanctions. They could sanction their receiving of goods and the shipment of goods and merchandise shipped to their country, to try to put the pressure on them to cooperate and whatever. And it doesn't work. The restrictions, the laws, the laws are whatever. So now we have the laws, the crime continues, and now the government says, fine, these instruments used in these crimes are now against the law. This is where we get into the assault weapons and the bans, and they go ahead and they say, well, we tried these laws and this laws, and we go and tell our representatives, we fucking told you, dumbass, the laws weren't working before. These are the same laws now. All you did is restrict the legal rights of the legal rights of the legal citizens, the legal gun owners. That's all you did. You didn't stop the criminals. Congratulations, we told you so. Unfortunately, by then it's too late. But now they've infringed on our rights, and it's like credit, folks. It's the hardest thing to get, the easiest thing to ruin. And once you ruin it, it's 10,000 times harder to rebuild it than it is to get it in the first place. Our rights are along the same lines. They're given to us. That's easy. They're given to us by our Creator, reaffirmed by our Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights. Fine. We're all born with that. Okay? They're semi-difficult to hold on to, but once they're gone, they're gone. And it's next to impossible to get them back. It can be done, but it's so hard. It's like fighting an uphill battle. It's straight uphill. It's just next to impossible. So the situation where now the country's divided, our rights to freedom of speech are being stepped on, and our rights to gun ownership are well on their way to being just legislated away, period. These extremist lefts, they use deplorable tactics like exploiting violent crimes against children. Obama, that prick, stood on national television, and these children who had written him letters, and they're all touchy-feely, and oh my God, these children, and you know what? Put a fucking armed guard in school. Put them in plain clothes. Plain clothes, concealed carry, armed guard, maybe more than one. The kids aren't going to know the freaking difference. Unless the idiot goes around waving his gun, he's not going to know the difference. The parents aren't going to know the difference. They may know that there's an armed guard, but they're not going to know who it is. If he carries it concealed carry properly, that's the whole point of it. They won't know. Neither will the idiots that want to come in because they think it's an easy target. They're not going to know who's armed. They know there's one or two or more armed guards in the school, but they're in plain clothes. They carry concealed. They're not going to know who the hell it is. I guarantee you, these violent crimes at these schools are going to stop. Most reasonably because it's the government that's perpetrating them anyways, in order to legislate these guns away. Okay? They perpetrate these crimes on the sly to get a reason. Okay? That's that catalytic event. They do it purposely to gain ease of legislation and taking these guns away, because ultimately, like with the assault weapons ban that's trying to be passed by Feinstein, they're not going to be included. They're going to be exempt. So they don't give a shit. They don't have anything to lose. So, anyways, that's my take on the Second Amendment and what's going on with it now. Folks, get up off your duffs. Get up, and excuse my frankness and my French. Get up off your fucking asses. Write your congressman, write your senator, write your governor, your state assembly, your local city mayor, Everybody, write them. Write them more than once. Write them once a week. Write them more than once a week. Call them. Bombard them with calls and letters and calls and letters. Like I said, to the point where I call, they know me by name. They'll see the number, and 9 times out of 10, depending on who answers the phone, they know who they're talking to. I can't do any more. I mean, short of camp out, go take a sleeping bag in a tent and camp out on the state, the state capitol's steps. I can't really do anymore. So this is what we need to do, folks. We need to stand up. We need to step in and save ourselves, because there's nobody else at the end of the day that's going to do it. It's going to be us. Cops can't stop the crime. They can only investigate the crimes. They can't stop the crimes. They can't be everywhere at once, so they can't stop the crimes. 90% of these yahoos out there, they don't want to stop the crimes. They want to get in. They want the crimes to continue so they can get into it, because if they beat their chest and they're big tough guys, they're taking down criminals. Bullshit, dude. Okay, if you really felt like you were doing the people a service, you wouldn't think that way. You'd be happy as hell that there's no crime. You wouldn't be treating citizens the way you treat them, thinking that they answer to you and you are the ultimate authority. And it's out there, people. It's out there all the time. I've come across it. Other people have come across it. You get that one gung-ho cop that thinks he's fucking, he's Billy Badass, and you got to answer to him, and, your rights don't matter here. What I say goes, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, we'll see. Again, guys, this is Poopster USMC, and this is part 2 of 2 for my take on the Second Amendment war and what's going on with it and what we need to do to get out there and stop it. As I say in all my comments, God bless and Semper Fi.